So I'm about to board the Canadian. It's a transcontinental train from VRL going from Toronto to Winnipeg, and I just spent the last week in Hamilton skating with one of my goalie coaches, Derek Bugen, as you can see right here. But I'm heading home on the number 1 westbound for the Prairies, and it all starts right here in downtown Toronto, outside Union Station. Also, one thing that really gets me excited about VRL is that this is Toronto Downtown Union Station. There's 2 Union Stations in Canada, one in Winnipeg, one in Toronto. And when you come to the station, you get some amazing scenery like here. You get the CN Tower. So many cool things down here. Hockey bags checked in, as always, smooth. Via asks, are they overweight? Yes, they are. They don't care. Via is by far the best when it comes to checking in, bags, just... Airport sucks. So the Canadian runs once a week on the number 1 line running from Toronto to Vancouver and the number 2 line running east from Vancouver to Toronto. I'm an absolute train junkie, and the one thing that fascinates me the most is the history of the Canadian, which was founded in 1955 by Canadian Pacific, running from Montreal. Currently the Canadian route departs Toronto, stopping in Hornpain, Sioux Lookout, Winnipeg, Melville, Saskatoon, Edmonton, Jasper, Kamloops, and finally arriving in Vancouver. This is going to be my 3rd journey on board the Canadian this year. And the renovations, let me tell you, they're awesome, which really has me looking forward to this journey. Although I won't be completing the full journey to Vancouver for another month, I'll be getting off in Winnipeg for this trip, staying for 3 weeks before I pack up and board the train to complete the 4,400 kilometer journey to Vancouver before I eventually board my flight to Sweden to start my upcoming pro hockey season. Rolling about, I think, 12 cars. Dome cars not accessible. They are the best part of the journey. This is the Canadian Shield. It covers all across Ontario and almost the entire route, which is purely forests, lakes, and cottages before you finally roll over in the prairies for the final few hours of this journey. I will say that this isn't the sexiest route by any means, because outside of Toronto and Winnipeg, the only exciting stop on this route is Parry Sound, home of Bobby Orr, and about 3 hours outside of Toronto. The rest are all small towns with populations of about 1,000 people and about 7,300 mosquitoes for every person accounted for. This here is the first stop of the day as we come into Caperville. Train doesn't stop in any really prime time locations. So Calgary, Regina. This here is Laurentide Park. The park cars are the prestige class cars. They have the dome on top. You get some of the best views. Unfortunately closed because of the cove. And as far as economy class cars go, the blue rims are the old economy class cars. The original cars in the 1950s, renovated in the 1990s, haven't been touched since. But if you look to my right, the cars with the yellow trim, they were all refurbished in 2020. They all come now with electrical plugins and all the seats. Same original cars in the 1955 when CP Rail owned the VRL Canadian line. How's that for train encyclopedia? Not exactly on a tropical vacation bucket list by any stretch of the imagination. All the bucket list views are west of Jasper, Alberta, near Mount Robson, but the focus of this video is east of that. One thing that I think is a huge drawback for VIA is the freight delays. VIA runs exclusively on CN tracks, so anytime a freight train comes along, the passenger train, well, it has to pull over and wait. And this could add up to 12 hours onto your arrival time. But one of the things that makes time go by really quickly is the dining options. They recently brought them back. Check this out.
Burger, no bun, and he hooked you up there, but there is no cheese on the burgers.
Oh, okay? Awesome. So basically ordered the cheeseburger, no bun, add an extra patty, sub potato salad for mashed potatoes, and instead of the veggies on the burger, I got the seasonal chef veg, which is green beans tonight. Chef pulled through. So chef hooked it up, mashed potatoes, green beans, double patty. How's the chili?
It's the only option, so yeah.
Oh, you're vegetarian?
Yeah.
Is it just chili? You give you a bun or anything with it?
Yeah, you get a bun and potatoes and green beans.
Chef Craig. Incredible. Wow, what a town. We are literally in the middle of nowhere. Yep. As you can tell, and like I mentioned earlier, majority of the route east of Winnipeg is the middle of somewhere in northern Ontario. There's no cell reception, minimal civilization, but I think the part of that that's really beautiful is that you're witnessing life as it was 100 years ago and 100 years before that, when most of what we know today didn't exist. It wasn't even a thought. And as we head into the abyss of the night here, this is my sleeping setup and economy. Now, I'm the definition of beer wallet here, but I couldn't afford a sleeper, so if I could get a bed to sleep in, I absolutely would. However, this calendar year, I've spent 9 nights in the Canadian, and I'll tell you right now, it never gets any easier to sleep, especially at my height being 6'5", but it's something you adapt to and you get used to as the train rolls on. So it's approximately 2 in the morning right now. We're in a place called Hornpain, Ontario. Kind of nice, because everybody's sleeping. I come outside, peaceful, I don't know, I like that kind of stuff. One of the ladies working was telling me that the dome car, so this one up here with a little roof, apparently it might be opening next month, which would be nice. Trade you any day of the week.
No, you just take my sausages.
Oh, okay.
I don't like sausages.
Thank you so much. What's your name, by the way?
Chanel.
Chanel. Nice to meet you. Some different vegetarian tofu. Now, can you tell Chef Greg? Unreal. The veggie scramble, incredible.
Well, I'll let him know.
A+. 10 gold stars. Well, there's either one of two things. Chef Greg hates his job and loves when exciting new things come up, this being one of them, or he heard that I have a camera. This is one of the two. He's like, oh shit, they might fire me if he sandbags me in this video. Round 2, chef's omelet. Loaded with cheese. Chef Greg bringing down the house. The food on VRL is seriously underrated. I've had food on airlines from Air Canada and KLM in the past, and on VRL with Chef Greg and Chef Paul, they blow all of that out of the water. I really think it's a shame right now they're only offering 3 options for breakfast, 3 options for dinner, because I've heard amazing things about the prime rib, the duck, the rack of lamb, but I guess all those are gonna have to wait for another day because Via isn't serving any of them. They're all in to-go boxes, and they're all simple menu items that they're just bringing to your seat. So as we hit the road for one of the last times of the day, I got to experience the best visuals of this trip as the forest transformed into lakes and cottage house properties, and we would eventually make our final rest stop of the day in Sioux Lookout before taking off again for a few hours to cross into the prairies in anticipation for the final arrival in Winnipeg to complete this journey at downtown Union Station. Winnipeg is where I'm born, and I've always been fascinated by the history of the city, but what's fascinated me so much about this Toronto to Vancouver route, this is the same route original settlers took over 100 years ago to a new life and a new start when they came to Canada. And the experience you get today is almost identical to what you got back in 1912 when Winnipeg was still the transportation hub of Canada and Winnipeg's Union Station was finally finished being built. Every time I see the Canadian arrive or depart Winnipeg, it takes me through a time machine of history. And ultimately, why I love VRL, why I love the Canadian Winnipeg and all of its history so much. And it's why I keep coming back on this train to ride it again and again. And just like that, the Toronto to Winnipeg route is complete. And in 3 weeks, I'll be boarding this train again to complete the rest of the journey throughout the prairies, the valleys of Saskatchewan, the Rocky Mountains, and into the suburbs of Vancouver. If you're doing this journey, it can be absolutely daunting for sure, but if you're coming into Vancouver and you're looking for a place to stay, I have the perfect recommendation for you. So this is the Burrard Hotel. Let me show you around. The Burrard Hotel is one of the flagship hotels in downtown Vancouver. Originally opened in 1956, the Burrard still has those funky 1950s vibes to this day. And when you stay, you'll get access to some amazing high-speed internet, complimentary parking, and a wicked coffee setup, as well as some great views of downtown Vancouver when you stay, not to mention their friendly service. But what about their nightlife? Well, with the summer upon us, and a lot of people, myself included, want to have a time. And the Burrard is central to all that, being between Davies and Helmkin Street. If you check out the first link in the video description, you'll get up-to-date special rates, up to 30% off your stay if you're booking a last-minute stay. So if you want to do this in the next 14 days, you can get some amazing smoking deals. And I just want to say thanks to the Burrard for sponsoring this video. So that's the trip. I also want to give a quick shout out to Louise. She's actually the lady who took the thumbnail for this video. She was also the snack cart girl on my trip. She's awesome. Give her a shout out on Instagram if you want to see some awesome VRL photography. She's got legitimately 20,000 pictures on there of this train. Also, if you like this video, you want to learn more about trains, you want to learn more about hockey, whatever you're into, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so, and you can always unsubscribe later if you don't like me. Thanks for watching.